We're back on the campaign couch. Joining me is our very own Dennis Atkins and Steven Wardill. Gentlemen, the costings are in, at least for Labor. Any surprises?
Not many surprises. About $1 billion worth of GST revenue they're claiming is coming into the state on top of what they were already getting because of the impact on the floods on the budget. So they've got about $1.7 billion worth of policies. They're saying the rest is coming from money already in the budget and savings. But I guess in many ways nobody was really looking at Labor's policies here. They've had prices out and where they're getting the money from the whole time. Everybody's looking at what the LNP is going to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting how the LNP sort of makes their numbers add up. If you believe people, there's anywhere between sort of about $4 billion and $8 billion worth of promises that the LNP have made. Some of them are quite significant and some of them are quite real. They can't sort of fudge them. They will be able to use this extra $1 billion with the GST to sort of give themselves, a bit of sort of wriggle room in terms of how they're going to make all of their numbers add up. It'll be interesting, but I think the really interesting thing will come after the election, presuming the LNP wins, when they do their Commission of Audit, and that's when we'll get the real numbers instead of just these sort of numbers we get in the last few days of the campaign.
Well, I think they've played this quite well too. At the last campaign, they got out early that they would do an efficiency dividend. They got crucified by that. You had the public sector union following Lawrence Springborg around with a paper mache head, which never actually looked too much like Lawrence Springborg, but it did the damage enough as it was. People thought that Lawrence Springborg was going to cut everything, which really wasn't true. That there was that whole 12,000 jobs thing. Lawrence Springborg's going to cut 12,000 jobs. This time the LNP has held the line. Labor's credibility in this area is a little bit shot because it produced costings last time, which was one foolscap page. Most of their policies were actually funded by the federal government. So LNP holding the line and saying, well, we're going to be releasing it in a couple of days before the campaign hasn't made where they're getting the money from a big issue despite Labor's best attempts.
So 2 days out from going to the polls isn't too late?
No, I don't think so. Like it'd be great if it was better, but politically the smartest thing to do is get it out as late as they can. Obviously, don't have it in the papers on the day of the poll, but look, as long as they can come up with some type of credible story for where the money's coming from, they're finding $4 to $8 billion, like Dennis said, in the budget. So if there's that much fat in the state budget, I'd like to see where they're getting the money from. But sure. I think politically they've actually played it very well.
Is there any tactics behind Labor releasing their costings first? I mean, it is only a matter of 24 hours.
Well, I guess it's to free up the space for the LNP because they're kind of, this is their last line of attack, really. This is the last throw of the dice tomorrow when